Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating idea from our source material. This concept of a spiritual partnership that, well, it promises to redefine what it means to be human and maybe even make the impossible possible. Okay, let's just dive right into this powerful claim. This isn't just about feeling inspired, you know? It's about unlocking a whole new level of capability, a different way of operating that just flips our limitations completely on their head.
And that's the big question, right? How does a spiritual companion actually unlock this impossible potential and create what the Source calls a new humanity? I mean, we're not talking about simple self-improvement here. This is supposed to be a total transformation. So how does it all work? Let's find out.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the gift itself, then uncover a surprising secret about Jesus' power. After that, we'll explore the tools for this partnership, see it all play out in a real-life story, and finally, figure out what it all means for us today.
All right, first up, the Holy Spirit is presented here as Jesus' most profound gift to humanity. And we're not talking about some vague force, but as a genuine successor, a new guide for our journey.
And here's the connection they draw. You know how the disciples had 3.5 years of direct, hands-on mentorship with Jesus? Well, the idea is that the Holy Spirit offers that same kind of intimate, constant guidance to believers right now. It's like an ongoing mentorship. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because it leads to a surprising insight about Jesus himself, something that a lot of people might get wrong. So here's what most of us think. Jesus did all these amazing miracles because, well, he was divine, right? It was just part of his factory settings, so to speak. But it turns out that might not be the full picture. This verse right here is the key. It says Jesus did what he did, not just because he was divine, but because he was anointed with the Holy Spirit in power. That one little detail, it changes everything. And here is the crucial point. On earth, Jesus intentionally set aside his divine powers. He chose to rely on the Holy Spirit, exactly the way we're invited to. That means he was operating in the same way we can, through a partnership with the Spirit. He was basically showing us the blueprint. So if we have access to that same power source, what does that actually look like? What tools does it give us? Well, it breaks down into 3 key things: vision, gifts, and fruit. First up, vision. This is the ability to see beyond what's right in front of you, to get a glimpse of God's blueprint for the future. Without a vision, all the power in the world is just directionless. Okay, next we have spiritual gifts. Think of these as the practical abilities you need to actually build that vision. And they are super diverse, right? From teaching and administration to healing. They're the how-to that makes the what of the vision happen. Now, this is a really important distinction. The gifts are about the power to do things. But the fruit, that's about the character you need to be. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle that power wisely. And here they are: love, joy, peace, patience. You see the list. These aren't just actions. They're meant to be the core qualities of your inner being, the spiritual nourishment that actually defines you. Because, let's be honest, power without this kind of character can be pretty destructive. Wow, this slide really paints a picture of the ultimate transformation, doesn't it? The story of the first humanity is about taking and eating fruit from a tree. But the goal for this new humanity is to become the tree, the source that provides that spiritual nourishment for everyone. It's a huge shift from being a consumer to a producer of life itself. Okay, but does this whole framework, vision, gifts, and fruit, actually work in the real world, especially in a super high-stakes situation? Let's look at the story of Stephen, the first Christian martyr, as a kind of case study. I mean, talk about an impossible situation. He's facing a violent death at the hands of an angry mob. How could anyone possibly endure that with any kind of grace? Well, the answer seems to lie in that spiritual toolkit we've been talking about. First, we see his gift in action. He has this divine wisdom, this eloquence that his accusers just can't argue with. That's the power to do right there on display. And next, you see the fruit. In the middle of unimaginable pain, he expresses this radical love and forgiveness, almost perfectly echoing Jesus. That's not just an action, that's a deep reflection of his inner character. And finally, where did he get this incredible strength? He was given a vision. He saw a glimpse of heaven that made his earthly suffering bearable. So you have it all: Vision, gifts, and fruit, all working together in the absolute ultimate test. So, all of this really brings it back to us, to a personal level. It's a challenge to think about our own growth and where we're at.
So the source gives us this practical self-assessment tool. It's a way to measure which of these fruits are really thriving in your life and which ones might need a little more cultivation. You can think of it like a spiritual checkup.
And this is the key takeaway. The goal isn't just about being a good person or having good morals. It's about a fundamental transformation. It's about becoming that fruit-bearing tree that naturally generates love, joy, and peace for yourself and for the people around you. So, we'll end with the final challenge from the source. It's a simple but really profound question that asks us to look inward and consider not just what we're doing, but who we're becoming. What fruit are you growing? Thanks for joining us.